All right, so we got Draymond Green taking physicality to another level yet again. And so in a match between the Golden State Warriors and the Minnesota Timberwolves that was just way too early on in the game for things to get this chippy, a fight ends up breaking out. And the score was 0-0. I don't know if you guys saw this, but usually when you see something go down like this, it's later in the game, in a blowout game. It might be 120-80 and frustration is running high, and then a hard foul leads into a fight like this. But this was 0-0, and what ended up happening was Klay Thompson and Jaden McDaniels, they kind of get locked up with each other coming off of a missed shot, and they're kind of swinging each other around, grabbing each other's jerseys. Klay Thompson's jersey ends up getting ripped, and Rudy Gobert ends up grabbing at Klay and just out of nowhere swoops in Draymond Green, and next thing you know, he's got Rudy Gobert locked up, and you can see the look on Rudy Gobert's face like, what the hell did I just get myself into? And listen, there's not going to be anything criminal that comes out of this situation, but it's worth talking about, right? Because in contact sports, getting bumped around, getting pushed, and even an inadvertent smack in the face is just something that's going to be expected, right? And you would never see any sort of criminal charges come from this type of contact. But what happens when the contact goes beyond mere incidental contact or even hard fouls? Obviously, in today's game, no basketball player in their right mind expects to get choked out on the basketball court. I mean, this ain't the 80s. You remember Bill Laimbeer's combat basketball game was fire. But in this situation, could Draymond Green technically be charged with a crime? Again, there aren't going to be any criminal charges, no investigation or anything like that. We're just throwing stuff out there. And I would say, yes, he could. In California, where this incident occurred, a battery is an act which causes a harmful or offensive contact. Now, I seriously doubt that Rudy Gobert was in any way hurt by Draymond Green's arm around his neck, but I mean, you could definitely argue that this was offensive contact. I mean, here Rudy is trying to seemingly break up this fight. He kind of grabs onto Klay Thompson, and Draymond swoops in and takes it to another level by placing his arm around his neck and sustaining it for quite some time. And this is one of the elements of battery that isn't readily known to people. People are generally aware that if you end up hitting somebody or in somehow making contact and that's harmful, that certainly would be a battery, but it doesn't have to be harmful. It can just be offensive. So on the other hand, the question would be, would Draymond have some sort of defense? And I would say arguably yes. Draymond could argue that he was acting in defense of another, namely his teammate, Klay Thompson. Many people are aware of the law on self-defense, but you're also legally allowed to use force to defend someone else. Draymond is no stranger to turning up on the job, and we saw him drop Jordan Poole, his former teammate, in the middle of a practice last year. But regardless of the lack of criminal charges, I mean, we knew the league would come down on Green. He was suspended for 5 games, and that's without pay, so that's a hefty price to pay for something like this. And, just like in the criminal justice system, your past offenses definitely will affect how you are punished if you have new offenses. And so the NBA had indicated that Draymond's history of unsportsmanlike acts factored into his punishment. Fans seem to be split on whether the 5-game suspension is too high or too low. Let me know what you think. Does the punishment fit the offense here? Leave me a comment below. Well, that's going to be enough for this story. Thanks so much for watching. Till next time. Peace.